Hi, my name is Maria Finkelmeier. I am a percussionist and composer by training, and over the past decade, my career has really evolved into becoming an installation artist and sound designer. And I'm really passionate about creating projects that are site-specific, reactive to social issues, to specific environments, and to really what's going on in the world today. So I really like to marry my background in music and in organizing sound with light, with projection, with movement, with narrative, and I'm really excited about this residency. So the project that I'm incubating here is called Threads of Assumption, the Biases You Weave. And actually I've been thinking about this project in an abstract way for over a year and a half. I'm coming into a time of my life where I'm really trying to think about my own story, my own relationships, how I move as an artist, as a composer, as someone in the production field, and finally able to talk about and think about how my gender has influenced my career, my personal relationships. And I've been thinking deeply about how to create an art piece around that, and also how to empower other, not just women, but just people that have felt that their gender has influenced their relationships, again, their career in some way. And started to think about how artificial intelligence also impacts our lives and our world, and it's everywhere, from our phones to our computers to how ads are kind of relayed to us. And I wondered how I could access technology to help tell stories. So the process is going to be collecting conversations from people that feel that gender has impacted their life in some way, their gender identity. Most likely the stories that we're listening to are harmful in some way, that it has negatively impacted their lives. The artificial intelligence that we're going to use doesn't make anything mathematical, it's actually tracking emotion. So I'm really interested in how emotion and how feeling can be collected as data, can it? And how do we actually then tell those stories weaved as one? The manifestation of this learning, of all of these stories, of this quote-unquote data, will be a performance installation that I'm creating in collaboration with Martha, Sophie, and Yumelina. And they are artists, visual artists, technologists, and poets. And we're going to kind of come together, look at all these stories, which will be anonymous. So when the stories are collected through a virtual conversation, they won't be associated with a person. There will just be words, there'll be lines of sentiment, of emotion, and we will kind of create this collective narrative that will be expressed through projection, through music, through performance, and through poetry. The space in which it will inhabit is extremely important. It's almost a character in itself. And I've really found a lot of inspiration from the space here at Studio 170. When walking in, you're kind of taken by the brightness of the white walls, but then also the ornate details. They speak in a way that, you know, a plain wall wouldn't. And while I've been spending time here, I'm really thinking about history, and I'm thinking about design, and I'm thinking about shape. And I'm also thinking about how all of these elements come together in modern spaces. Like, you come into this space and you feel taken back, but also you feel like there's moving forward. And I don't know what it is about the space, but I think it's because there's possibilities to use technology, because we are like pushing to create art and experimental art in here. And I actually think there's a lot of juxtaposition there with this project and how it's sitting with me, because I'm looking back on my kind of history as a human. And I'm actually coming to terms with some experiences that I've had that have influenced where I am today, but negatively, to be completely honest. And that I've never really done before, because it's vulnerable and it's opening up wounds. At the same time, I'm trying to look forward to say, okay, how can we learn from these experiences collectively? How can I empower other female-identifying humans, other non-binary humans, to kind of understand this like context of gender and how it's influenced our lives? And how can we move forward by actually collecting and weaving our stories together? The idea of the project and the space kind of work together, because we're thinking about history, we're thinking about the past, while we're also pushing forward. And I love that, because I also think it kind of has this rub of reflection, and that's what I really hope a listener or an observer of the piece kind of feels, that moment of thinking about themselves, thinking about how they move in the world. And I'm really grateful to have a space that kind of exudes that energy in itself.